We are now beginning our next vote, 13, which is social development, Department of Social Development. It's a vote 9, it's a vote 13. What I can remind honorable members, those on visual, is that they will follow the rules. If they are, I'm cut off. Oh. If there are any replacement, they're supposed to have arranged prior, and also they should also follow the rules. I will take this opportunity, honorable members, and call up development.
Greetings to the Honorable Chair. Greetings to the Speaker, Honorable Boyce and Deputy Speaker. Greetings to the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Nomsa Dube. Greetings to the Honorable Members of the Executive Council, the Honorable MEC for Finance, Honorable Nkonyeni, to the Honorable Zuma, MEC for Agriculture. Greetings to the members of the provincial legislature, led, of course, by the chairperson of the portfolio committee, Honorable Swarbo Ntombela. Greetings to everyone present, especially the honorable guests. Greetings to members who are connected virtually. Greetings to all distinguished guests, fellow citizens of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, members of the media present, ladies and gentlemen. It is with a great sense of determination and commitment that I stand before this House today to table the budget 2023 to 2024 on behalf of the KwaZulu-Natal Vote 13 Social Development. The budget preparation process for 2023-2024 MTEF was challenging due to the economic climate, which is indicative of continuous budget constraints ascribed to the carry-through effects of the fiscal consolidation and wage freeze cuts. The 2023-2024 budget allocation shows low growth of 300 million compared to the 2022-2023 adjusted budget. It should be noted that this is not a real growth as the operation budget continues to shrink. The carry-through implications of the budget cuts that were implemented during the 2021-2022 MTEF, which were incremental in the outer years, are reported 570.2 million ngo 2023-2024, bese kuthi in the outer years ngokulandelana. Furthermore, although the department received the additional allocation for the cost of living adjustment carried through cost of 3%, this was offset to some extent by further equitable share budget cuts, which were 16.3 million in 2024-2025 and 28 million in 25-26 as a result of the annual data updates on the provincial equitable share formula. This is indicative of the serious challenges that the department is going to face over the 2023-2024 MTEF. And it's nice because the Honorable Nkonyeni is here as the MEC for Finance and listening attentively to what I'm saying. Although rigorously reprioritization was undertaken to address areas where there are pressures, these budget cuts affected mostly the operational budget that includes compensation of employees. And that's a very thorny issue, which decreases by 72.4 million. compensation of employees, go 2023-2024, and goods and services, which decreases by 58.2 million compared to the projected expenditure outcome for 2022-2023. These are the financial pressures which are anticipated in a year. However, prudent financial management practices will be implemented to avoid unauthorized expenditure. As per the Provincial Executive Council resolution, that each department should provide 10 million towards job creation. The department has reprioritized funds within the equitable share allocation to supplement the social sector EPWP incentive grant for provinces for the appointment of community caregivers, CCGs. The department has a dedicated budget for crime prevention and support under Program 4, restorative services. The budget allocation has increased from 150 to 531 to 159. This allocation includes transfers and subsidies to welfare organizations responsible for crime prevention and support. Honorable Chairperson, we experienced these budget cuts at the time when the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal are trying to recover from 3 disasters that gripped the province in just over 2 years, namely the COVID-19, as it is known, the violent protests in July, and the devastating floods in April. These disasters, coupled with low economic growth and rising inflation, have exacerbated socio-economic conditions such as poverty, unemployment, food insecurity, and social pathologies such as gender-based violence and femicide, substance abuse, as well as crime and violence, thereby increasing the demand for social welfare and community development services. This is compounded by the constant increase in the population of KwaZulu-Natal, which is estimated at 11.6 million. As the KZN population and demand for social development continues to increase, the department and the country at large persistently face fiscal constraints. Despite the increasing demand for services and the shrinking budget, we will continue to provide integrated development, social development services to the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal, guided by the relevant pieces of legislation. Key amongst these is the White Paper on Social Welfare Services and the White Paper on Families, the Children's Amendment Act of 17 of 2022, and the Older Persons Act, among others. The delivery of social development services is still guided by various international, continental, national, and provincial planning frameworks. These include the Sustainable Development Goals, as SDGs, the African Continent Agenda, Agenda 2063, the National Development Plan, and Provincial Growth and Development Strategy. The NDP places social protection at the center of the fight against poverty, unemployment, and inequality. To this end, we remain committed to the DSD mandate, which is to provide social protection services and lead government's effort to forge partnership through which vulnerable groups and communities become capable and self-reliant in their own development. As we present this budget, we honor the struggle icon, Ubaba Riot Makomanisi Mkhwanazi, who contributed to the freedom of the country, of our country. In honor of this bravery and resilience, the department will launch a compendium of social behavior change programs at KwaMkhwanazi traditional area. Izothathwa isiwe khona koMkhwanazi to respond to the social ills of and gender-based violence, substance abuse, and crime and violence against women. These programs will be rolled out in all wards within Umhlathuze local municipality, khona ikhaya lakhe ubaba uRiot, and seek to reduce risky behaviors and in young people, build the self-esteem and help them to protect each other and be able to invest in their future. The program will be launched in June 2023 by the MEC for Social Development as the legacy program in honor of Ubaba Urayot Mkhwanazi, which will be sustained in many years to come. Through this program, the people of Mhlathuze will be able to claim the freedom that Ubaba Mkhwanazi fought for and his bravery, which saw him awarded the Order of Mendi. No man will abuse women and children in this program. We'll see men standing up against gender-based violence, and we want to see men saying, "Not in our name." We present this budget speech taking a cue from the State of the Province Address, ISOPA, presented by the Honorable Premier early this year. We themed this financial year budget speech, leaving no one behind as we build a better, prosperous, and resilient KwaZulu-Natal. This is a call to action for everyone in the province to work together to create a better future for all citizens, particularly those who have been marginalized and disadvantaged in the past. We were in this August House when we presented 2022-2023 budget vote, which was vote 13, and from the onset, we were clear that we all, with all the different challenges we face, including budget cuts, we intended to leave no one behind. It was a commitment that when we rise, we want to ensure that we address the needs and concerns of all members of the society, regardless of their background and circumstances. It remains the primary cornerstone for the department to ensure that no one is left behind as we rise to deal with the social development, social cohesion, and social transformation. Honorable Chairperson, our plans to deal with daily atrocities committed against women in our society face a significant challenge due to budget cuts, but the appalling cases of domestic violence have become more prevalent, violent and prominent since the outbreak of COVID-19. As you will also recall that even ukuhlukunyezwa kwabantwana kwakhula ngesikhathi se-COVID-19. Considering the high rate of crimes against women and children, this government will improve our interventions in dealing with the cases of domestic violence and rape. We also need to have more social workers to deal with the social ills. We have made a commitment as far as social welfare is concerned, because we want to ensure development. This means that everyone in KwaZulu-Natal should have access to the resources, services, and opportunities they need to thrive and succeed. However, the plans we are going to succeed. We all know that the department is the heartbeat of government of KwaZulu-Natal. Remember, we become the first department to come to any situation, and we become the last department to leave any situation. Despite the difficulties we face, we approach this budget with a sense of optimism and a firm belief that through strategic planning, innovative thinking, and collaborative approach, we can continue to make progress towards our goals. Our department remains committed to address the socio-economic challenges facing our communities, particularly those who are most vulnerable. We are determined to build a more inclusive, just, and equitable society where all citizens have access to the resources and opportunities they need to thrive. Honorable Chairperson, one wants to urge all citizens of this province to work together, think creatively, and remain focused on our shared vision of a better tomorrow for all as we continue in all quests to better our communities. The National Development Plan is very clear in identifying GBVF and the abuse of children, especially amantombazane, as particular impediments to the realization of equality and prosperity. In line with the observation, we have been working even harder to deal with GBVF prevention, child safety and security. As the former chairperson of the African Union Commission and Minister of the Presidency for Women and Persons with Disabilities, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma succinctly said, and I quote, "We must empower women and girls to reach their full potential, not just because it is the right thing to do, but because it is essential for the development of our society and the progress of our nation," close quotes. I'm happy to report that in the previous financial year, the department, in partnership with Lifeline and Nyamukara Empowerment, a non-profit organization, we were able to train survivors of gender-based violence, about 39 young women who were housed in our different shelters in Mkungundlovu district and received CETA accredited training. These young women, honorable members, completed a 3-month Hodishanang, which says lift each other empowerment program, in which they learned sewing skills, digital literacy, CETA level 1 accredited qualification in our centers in KwaDambuza. Khona la eGqa KwaDambuza. We provided them with all necessities, including, we provide them with all necessities, including sewing machines. Each member, each and every one of them has a sewing machine, a laptop equipment with internet fabric for them to be able to start their own businesses. That is what development is. In all the interventions where we take women and youth to our institutions for training, honorable members, we ensure that once they have been provided with their training, we then, after their much needed skills, because someone is trained on her level of skills, they leave the training centers with accredited certificates, different tools of trade. We are proud to report that some of our youth who completed the training on youth academies and started their own businesses, while others secured employment. We trace these young guys. We have even able to produce a chef who attracted the interest of a big company like MSC Cruises, Ulaphaya Olwandle, having been trained in our Wentworth Youth Development Center and is now traveling the world. And they can attest to that. We have achieved remarkable success by mobilizing rural women to be part of our training to ensure economic empowerment. We will enable these groups to reach the next stage of economic empowerment through the formation of large producer enterprises or collectives, with each having several thousand members and managed professionally. As part of our development approach, we will be helping with the provision of raw materials for better design, quality, branding, and marketing of their products. Through supporting policies, they will be enabled to scale up the operations to serve the large consumer markets, as has been the case with Ikusasa Lethu NPO in Dandi. We are talking about warm bodies here, honorable members. The people ababreathayo whom you can touch. This women organization in Dandi has been able to purchase more machines in line with the products, and they also produce school uniforms and other fashion garments that are even showcased during Dandi July horse racing. We are at that level. As the department, we are in concurrence with President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, who said, and I quote, "The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and education is a very important weapon to prepare them for the future roles as leaders and to help them achieve their goals. We must invest in their development and create opportunities for them to succeed, close quotes. Therefore, this ANC government will never fail the people, and we are not going to turn back our commitment to prioritize job creation by investing in infrastructure development, promoting entrepreneurship, and supporting small businesses. Our approach as the department to poverty and unemployment has been multifaceted, addressing the underlying structural issues, which also providing immediate relief to those in need. We are taking cue from the Honorable Premier, our Premier, the one and the only Mrs. N. Dube, who during her State of the Province address emphasized the importance of social development and the need for government to prioritize development programs to support vulnerable communities. She stated that the ANC government remains steadfast in its commitment to addressing poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment through various social development programs that we have implemented, of course. Honorable Chairperson, we want to assure the people of this province that the programs that the department will implement while facing financial constraints will be in line with government plans to better the lives of the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal. With Vote 13, Waka 2023-2024, we intend leaving no one behind as we continue to navigate our journey to ensure that survivors of gender-based violence stand on their feet. A disabled person are able to successfully set up and manage their own businesses. Women are properly developed and empowered so that they do not have to tolerate abusive relationship in order to survive. And the youth is able to create jobs for themselves. Our journey to better the lives of our people needs us to stop politicking, bickering, and focus all the energies to uplift our communities from the chains of poverty. That is our primary goal with the non-profit organizations, others are in this house, and non-government organizations that perform our statutory obligations. The department partners with NPOs and NGOs, get financial support as to perform these responsibilities. The program 1 is too administrative, but I want to start by social welfare services, which is program 2. The allocation is 817.2 million. This deals with the social welfare services, which consists of care and support services to older persons and support services to persons infected and affected by HIV and AIDS, and as well as relief to social relief of distress. Honorable members, a transformed developmental social welfare system is one of the intended outcomes of the 6th administration. Transforming the social welfare system includes inter alia legislative reforms and expanding the pool of capable social workers. We will continue to play a meaningful role in the review of the social welfare legislation, whilst building the capacity of the existing workforce to implement the relevant legislation. Like the rest of the country, the province of KwaZulu-Natal continued to experience a shortage of social service professionals. This was exacerbated by COVID-19, where we lost a number of SSSPs due to the same pandemic. As part of addressing this challenge, the department participated in the development of all the sector strategy, the employment of SSSPs. Notwithstanding the government-wide fiscal constraints, we remain optimistic that the National Treasury will provide the necessary financial resources for the implementation of this strategy, so that the social development sector can be able to utilize a pool of unemployed social workers who are social work graduates to address the social ills in our province. In the meantime, the department will utilize its limited budget allocation to appoint SSPs to replace some of those we lost during COVID-19 pandemic. We want to assure you of that. Under the same directorate, there is services to older persons, which is allocated 191,766 million. The department remains committed to enhancing the social welfare being and quality of life of older persons. Through education and awareness programs, older persons were provided with information related to their rights, services available to them, ways and means of accessing their services, as well as aging. Just over 2,700 older persons received care and support services in 39 residential facilities, while more than 15,300 received services in 359 community-based services. The department will continue, Honorable Chair, to provide residential community-based care services to older persons. Special focus will be on constructing a residential facility that will accommodate and I hope the honorable member, MEC Zuma, will be interested on this one. The department will continue to provide residential community-based care services to older persons. Special focus will be on constructing a residential facility that will accommodate 100 people within the recently converted KwaSoimane residential facility. Needs assessment have been completed for the construction of the new residential facility at Opofuti as well, under Herikwan. Interventions aimed at preventing and addressing elderly abuse will be sustained. Under the same directorate, there's services to persons with disabilities. I'm glad because there are people with disabilities around us. The department remains committed to this, which has been allocated 173.7 million. The department remains committed to the vision of a free and just society, inclusive of all persons with disabilities and equal citizens, as espoused in the White Paper and Persons with Disabilities 2015. In giving effect towards the realization of the vision, just over 1,000 persons with disability received care and support services in 20 residential facilities in the province. More than 24,000 persons with disabilities participated in protective workshops to promote economic empowerment and independent living. The department will continue to provide financial and management support to residential facilities and protective workshops, and to utilize various instruments to step up disability mainstreaming. We also bought a braille machine for Zizamele Action Group at Pietermaritzburg. And this one is based with Pietermaritzburg NPO that takes care of the blind. The aim of buying this machine was to ensure that blind society are skilled and employable. I'm glad that Chairperson of Zizamele is with us here. In line with our strategy to move from purely welfare to a social development approach, the department will, in this financial year, transform the Osizweni Handicraft Center to provide a diversified curriculum to persons with disabilities, which will provide access opportunities to relevant training and development opportunities to enable them to participate in the mainstream of the economy. To the HIV and AIDS Subdirectorate, we have allocated 220.2 million as part of reducing risky sexual behaviors and prevention of new HIV and, infections. So social behavioral change programs were implemented in all districts, reaching 323 beneficiaries. Even in the 2022-2024 financial year, this program will continue. Under social relief of distress, which is allocated 24.6 million, the SRD program is critical intervention provided by the department to the individuals and household in distress due to varying degrees to vulnerability. Under the Subdirectorate, Children and Families, the program is allocated, it is program 3, which takes a big chunk of our budget as social development. It is allocated 1.145076 billion. The Children and Families program consists of care and support services to families, child care and protection services, partial care services, care and support services in child and youth care centers. Inomsebenzi omkhulu. Ama child and youth care centers asinika umsebenzi ngempela. Care and services to families, it has been allocated 23.6 million. Honorable Chair, we firmly believe in the words of Bizas and Bizas, and I want to open quotes on this one. The family, he said, the family is the basic and universal institution. Upon it depends the survival of every society. And I close quotes. Various initiatives were implemented to build strong and cohesive families. Sibe nama boys assemble, honorable members, lapho abantwana bethu about 250 of young boys bebekwe ndawonye besitshela ukuthi sibaphethe kanjani singomama, sibaphethe kanjani singama family singobaba. These assemblies served as a build-up session for the Provincial Boys Assembly, which was held during the Men's Month in July. Ne Boys Assembly program esibe nayo ithathe abantwana about 3,170 boys. Nesukuma ndoda sakhe program nayo futhi yobaba. Men championing change and rock leadership programs were implemented, and 7,399 men were mobilized to address domestic violence. At least there are men who want to lead these programs, and we appreciate. Under the Subdirectorate Child Care and Protection Services, it is allocated to 392,772 million. The Charter of Nations and societies often measured against the measures in place to protect children. In collaboration with the relevant stakeholders, the department continued to render a number of child care and protection services in line with the legislative instruments. With child care protection, siyaqikelela ke ukuthi abantu akube abakuyi child care protection register. Bangabi khona abantu abasondela ukuhlangana nabantwana abangekho kule register yethu. And on the management of foster care, ngoba le ifaka ne management of foster care as well. The provincial adoption assessment panels will continue to be conducted monthly as per the approved schedule to ensure that there are no delays in issuing the Children's Act Yaga 239. On early childhood development, nayo futhi ibekelwe aside 91.4 million rands. The last financial year was the first year of the implementation of this function. The function shift to ECD njoba sizokhumbula. But this gave effect to the pronouncement by His Excellency the President in his 2019 ISONA. That one has been implemented. Sebemuvile abantwana. In this current financial year, the department aims to provide services to more than 7,000 children in 48 registered partial care. Ngiyafisa siyizwe le ngoba most members athi, why do you continue talking about the ECD and partial care? Whereas ECD has moved from the department. Kodwa, we still have about 7,000 children in 48 registered care, partial care sites. So they are the responsibility of this department. Under child and youth care centers, CYCCs, the department will give special attention to the monitoring of the CYCCs in line with the 5 priorities of Nawongo. And the department idila nabantwana abasuke la who have been in conflict with the law, abanye bephuma from child-headed families. Under community-based care and services to children, the allocation is 117.6 million rands. The department will review the integrated action plan for children living, working on the streets. Leyo ke iseduze nenhliziyo ka-MEC, in partnership with all stakeholders with the intention of strengthening services to latter. A total of 194 children were reached through community-based prevention and early interventions program. The fourth program is the restorative services. It is allocated 471.015 million. Restorative services afaka phakathi social crime prevention and support. As per a call by the Premier, we have allocated the 10 million, but isawufaka under this social crime prevention and support program. Because Tina, as social development, we do implement the kind of the social care crime prevention and support. The department will continue to implement social crime prevention programs targeting more than 300,000 beneficiaries, whilst ensuring that more than 1,500 children in conflict with the law complete diversion programs. Under this directorate, there's a sub-program, which is Victim Empowerment Program. It is allocated 118.787 million. In the fight against the following scourge of violence against women and children, the department continued to implement the provincial strategy. The high-risk areas of Inanda, Umzumbe, chairperson of the portfolio committee, Umsunduzi, and Nongoma received special attention in the departmental efforts. Psychosocial support services to victims of gender-based violence were rendered through 30 white door centers, 8 Tutuzela care centers, 104 SEPS centers, and 14 crisis care centers, and 21 shelters. Kusetshenziswe la. There is a partnership between the Department and Public Works and DSD on the identification of infrastructure buildings lawa angasetshenziswa, which are underutilized, so that sikhande our Khuseleka one-stop centers and white door centers. Silalelile honorable members, that one was raised by yourselves as honorable members of this house. We are looking at those. And the gender-based victims are identified around the areas of Port Shepstone, Hluhluwe, Greytown, and Umlazi. There is also a partnership with SAP through the Office of the Premier and the Office of the Status of Women. Lawo ke asiwenzelwa i-SAP azoya eNanda, eBabanango, naseSikhawini. So ke we are on our toes. Under is substance abuse sub-program, treatment rehabilitation and rehabilitation, 108.830 million is allocated. 6 districts substance abuse forums are functional at Amajuba, Umzinyathi, Ilembe. Kodwa on top of that, on the 22nd of June, the portfolio committee visited Emadadeni Rehabilitation Center for monitoring of services offered by the center. Thank you, portfolio committee. Substance abuse treatment services were rendered through 3 state-owned NGOs managed treatment centers. Ezinye ke ziyakhiwa ke ama-treatment centers. Izokwakhiwa lapha Ogwini, enye izokwakhiwa kwiLembe. Ngoba sifisa abantwana bethu bazibone bephuma emgwaqweni, behle ukuhlala emgwaqweni, bangahlali besaba. Program 5, development and research. It has been allocated 274.168 million. This is a very small allocation, looking at the development of our women in the province, youth in the province. Everyone is looking upon this program, but it is allocated that small chunk, which is going to not be easy for us to do. But under youth development, we have just allocated 59.8 million rands. The department is firmly committed to advance the development needs of the young people in the province, as they are severely affected by severe shortage of skills, poverty, unemployment, and social ills. In October 2021, the Wentworth Youth Development Center was officially opened, and I'm happy to report to this House that in December 2022, a total of 100 youth graduated from this institution for the first time. These are our young people who were confronted with poverty and lived in fear in most areas. Sinendawo ke esisebenzayo ke kuzona under Estabazini naseVuma. There are 100 young youths from Zululand district. Singathi masibona iZululand very remote from Ishamthetho. Sicabanga ukuthi we don't reach areas of Zululand. They were supported, these 100 youth have been supported by the department so as to obtain their driver's licenses. This will enhance their chances of finding employment. There are also 60 youths recruited from Utugela districts, and they are currently doing vocational skills. And we are continually doing monitoring. Ngoba benza bona tiling and carpentry. In responding to the plight of our youth with disabilities, the department is in the process of providing learnership skills and to 50 with the disabilities who have been recruited throughout Umkhanyakude district. We understand that Umkhanyakude unalaba bantwana bebala elimhlophe. Sithi we want to prove that labo bantu have brains. We want to prove that labo bantwana are equal to the task and can be of more important economy yethu as South Africa. In Zululand, the construction of the Denkosi Skills Development Center is underway, and siyabona la siyakhona. So that's what we do with this budget, and continuously siyaqhubeka. Under women development, it is allocated 14 million, which is far too less. The department has revived most of the women flagship projects, and in all of them, women are now generating income on the many different projects that they are involved in. A total of 18 million will be spent on the refurbishment and upgrades. A portfolio committee should know this. A total of 18 million will be spent on the refurbishment and upgrades to the Ilovo Incubation Center, esiyaziyo ukuthi was vandalized. Program which is community mobilization is allocated very small allocation, 2.7 million. And the department is continuously mobilizing the communities to stand up on their own. Under the institutional capacity building and support, it is allocated to 17.8 million. And the department will strengthen the management of NPOs. Alalele gama NPOs because an interest le. And the district level, which serves to mechanism to bring services closer to the people. Ileke nje ibekelwe wona. Under poverty alleviation and sustainable livelihood, which is allocated 20.7 million. This program is a catalyst in ensuring the implementation of sustainable livelihoods for the poor, vulnerable, and create resilience and lessen dependence on the state. Siyafisa ukubabona abantu bakithi bencipha abaphila ngokukhangezwa. Under community-based research and planning, which is allocated 1.1 million, community-based research and planning are increasing, becoming a definitive instrument to determine the needs of different communities. We have as well a population policy in this department, and that promotion is allocated 5.4 million. Yilapho phela sabuzibona sesenza ama research, sasibona siba ne colloquium sithi why men are angry. Because we wonder why men are not angry towards each other, but are angry towards women. It's just a usual case towards women and children. We will continue assisting municipalities throughout the province to incorporate population issues to integrated development plans. The province of KwaZulu-Natal currently is embracing the concept of demographic dividend, which is a window of opportunity to reap economic because of the increased numbers of economic active. With the upcoming census, honorable members, 2022 results, the department will provide assistance in incorporation of the population formulation. I-population policy yethu ibheka kakhulu ukuthi kwenzekani. I therefore want to put in front of this house, August House, the budget of 3.2 billion 255. In conclusion, Chair, notwithstanding the challenges we face as government, ZGA 2023, this budget provides hope and confidence to those who need the department's intervention due to the social ills, high unemployment rates, crime, no gender-based violence. And Honorable Chair, we are adamant that the department has touched many lives within KwaZulu-Natal, in this beautiful province of ours. And I have no doubt, Chair, that our commitment to leaving no one behind will yield positive result. Equally, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you, honorable members, especially the executive council members led by the Honorable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, for your support and the unwavering support. I would like to thank the honorable members of the legislature for your unwavering support and guidance, including all committees in this legislature, especially the portfolio committee yetu yakwa social development, which is led by the very capable Honorable Swarpo Ntombela. I would like to thank the honorable members Zagwi portfolio committee yakwa finance which shapes us and give us guidance. Noscopa as well, they are supporting us in whatever we are doing. Thank you so much, honorable members. And we would like to thank all members of the ANC, especially who have given us this opportunity to shine and make KwaZulu-Natal people proud, especially the members of the ANC Women's League. I don't want to forget them for their support, especially in the gender-based violence issues. They are taking the lead. And we want to thank a big thank you to all the NPOs, which are an extended arm to our department. And lastly, Honorable Chairperson, to the Fourth Estate, the media, Gibonga Kangpezi, baze bangipha negama lokuthi ngisikhwishikhwishi sentuthuko, the media for themselves, for affording us this opportunity and tell our good stories about our department. There are good stories indeed. Thank you, Chair.
3 minutes. Thank you, Honorable MEC Khoza, for such a presentation. Inhlalise phansi baba Gwala. Mzala wakhe. Siyabonga mzala. No, thanks, honorable members. MEC, we've exceeded with 3 minutes. There are 3 minutes to be taken from your response. But one should welcome, let me welcome, also acknowledge our MECs that have just joined us. Honorable members also, I see them who have just joined also. And also let me acknowledge the senior management team that is accompanying the MEC, led by TTG Mhlongo Makhelwane Wamlo, and other senior managers present. Thank you so much. Therefore, now we will start our report.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me greet everyone present in the House, our honorable MECs that are here, members of the House, of the Legislature, and officials of the Department of Social Development under the leadership of HOD, Miss Nelly Vilakazi. Honorable Chairperson and members of the House, the report I'm tabling is a summary of the committee's deliberations on the 2023-2024 budget and the annual performance plan. The Department of Social Development presented its draft budget and APP for the 2023-2024 financial year to the Portfolio Committee in numerous meetings. The meeting to consider the final budget was held on Friday, the 31st March 2023. The department presented its reviewed annual performance plan and budget for 2023-2024. The committee interacted with stakeholders on the APP and budget reports on the 24th of January at Gamalakhe Community Hall in Rhenkonyeni Municipality under Oku District. The committee noted and was satisfied that the activities of the department are aligned with NDP, PGDP, MTSF, and the committee also noted, as informed by the department, that the mission and strategic outcomes had changed extensively from the 2022-2023 estimates of provincial revenue and expenditure. However, the department has these aligned in the updated information of the 2023-2024 APP going forward. The 2023-2024 budget for social development. The Portfolio Committee was informed that the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Social Development has been allocated 3.26 billion for this financial year. The department's budget is projected to grow from 3.26 billion to 3.52 billion over the 2023-2024 MTF period. The budget will cater for the department's 5 main programs within the vote pattern. The financial year 2023-2024 will be a year that will further test the resolve of the department. As the committee, we learned that the department is continuing to face financial pressures due to the carry-through effects of the budget cuts. The main areas anticipated to experience pressures over the 2023-2024 MTF are compensation of employees and goods and services. Almost 50% of 2023-2024 budget will be used for compensation of employees. The department will utilize these funds towards the provision of social work practitioners to meet the norms and standards as set out in the integrated service delivery model. The committee engagement. The committee noted the following. The committee was concerned by the potential risk of weaker internal controls within the department. The weaker internal controls are due to the lack of segregation of duties. The risk exists because operational posts remain vacant due to the limited available budget. This is a red flag that must be addressed if the department is to avoid unwanted, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. The Portfolio Committee noted and was pleased with the addition of 27.8 million to the budget in 2023-2024. The committee understands that the additional funds will be allocated against the compensation of employees across all programs. Amongst other concerns raised were the following. The yearly budget analysis showed low growth compared to the projected 2022-2023 outcome. The operational budget still is indicative of the budget shortfall to accommodate contractual obligations such as catering services in the department, facilities, and security services. The budget for COE is reducing while the vacancy rate is not reducing. The unaffordability of filled and vacant posts continues in 2023-2024 due to the budget for shortfalls. The vacant critical posts in the department is a great concern. The department has assured the Portfolio Committee that 63 positions of the 434 existing have been advertised and are in the process of being filled. The committee is aware that the department will conduct interviews on smaller number of posts in comparison to existing ones, all due to funding unavailability. The committee will monitor closely the filling of these posts. The department works closely with the NPOs, and delays in the late payment of NPOs and at times non-payment is a great concern for the Portfolio Committee. The department assured the Portfolio Committee that outstanding payments to NPOs were all processed. The committee suggested reprioritizing the strategy on the payments to the NPOs. Therefore, in this financial year, the committee will keep the department on its toes to ensure payments are made on time. The Portfolio Committee will monitor the performance of the department's programs with keen interest. The committee emphasized to the department that they implement all the Finance Portfolio Committee's resolutions. Also, they must fully utilize the EPWP incentive grants. The government has given all departments 2 million for DDM. Therefore, the department must make sure that it uses the whole amount, at least 50% of these funds. Adoption of the budget. After the committee noted the above concerns, the portfolio committee supported the 2023-2024 budget on the 31st of March 2023-2024 as follows. Honorable Mbata Cele, ANC supported. Honorable LD Ngubane, ANC supported. Honorable G Mchali, EFF supported. Honorable M Tembe, DA supported. Honorable P Govender, IFP supported. Honorable NR Majola, ANC supported. Honorable Thakur Rajbansi, MF supported. Honorable HS Dlamini supported. Honorable GN Swartboy Ntombela supported. In conclusion, Chairperson, Honorable Chairperson, the Portfolio Committee supports the 2023-2024 budget of the Department of Social Development. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the MEC who always avails herself in all Portfolio Committee meetings. Honorable NM Cause. The department, we also want to thank all the officials of the department under the leadership of the HOD, Nelsiwe Vilakazi, and all its agencies like SASSA and NDA, the Office of Auditors General and Treasury for their cooperation that allows the department to deliver. Lastly, I would like to thank the support staff of the legislature for their continued support to the committee. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thanks, Honorable Member. The first member speaker who will start debate from the ANC is Honorable P.H. Mbata Cele for 10 minutes.
Ngibingelele kusihlalo, members of the Executive Council, Portfolio Committee, our Social Development, officials, our Social Development, officials as a legislature, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, ngiyabingelela kunina nonke. First of all, let me take this opportunity ngibonge kusihlalo we-Portfolio Committee ngokupresenta i-report ye-Portfolio Committee ngendlela ebekade i-committee livumelene ngayo. Thank you very much, Honorable Swartboy Ntombela. Honorable Chairperson, the Department of Social Development vision to enhance the quality of life through an integrated system of services is in line with that of the African National Congress promise to the people of our beautiful country of a better life for all. Through the rigorous groundwork done by the DSD as well as the Portfolio Committee overseeing it in preparation for the new year, the ANC is pleased with its budget and allocation for the 2023-2024 financial year. We are aware of our government's 7 goals, and the department primarily supports priority 6, which talks to social cohesion and safer communities, and priority 4, which talks to consolidating the social wage through reliable and quality basic services, and as indicated in the ANC manifesto commitment on, I quote, comprehensive social security, which will address social grant exclusion areas by improving targeting offense, children, remote rural areas, and disabilities, close quote. We as the ANC-led government are now in a period of implementation, which will propel KwaZulu-Natal towards overcoming the triple difficulties of unemployment, inequality, and poverty more quickly. The department will continue to offer community development and social welfare services during the 2023-2024 MTEF budget, including, among other things, the creation of sustainable networks, the provision of social welfare services to older people and people with disabilities, as well as the provision of emergency relief to struggling people and households through the distribution of social relief parcels. In 2023, the department improved and expanded their services to older persons. And more than 2,700 received support in 39 residential facilities, while 1,584 received in 539 community-based care centers. Such services will be sustained, including prevention program to prevent elderly abuse. Also, Chair, over 1,000 persons with disabilities received care and support in 19 residential facilities. And with 2,408 received services in 58 protective workshops and 14 organizations implemented community-based rehabilitation programs. The African National Congress notes that 58,297 social relief of distress benefits in 2022-2023 as a result of 2022 flood disaster. 120 shelters were provided, housing 8,400 people. Additionally, the department sent out social workers to offer psychosocial support services and coordinated 75 organizations to help victims through humanitarian support. Njengoba ke sihlalo uMinister uNgqongqoshe omkhulu ngesikhathi ememezela ngebudget yakhe ka2023 ukhombisa ukuthi uhulumeni oholayo uhulumeni wabantu uwaveza ukuthi igrant yabantu abadala neyabakhubazekile uzenyusa ngemali engango 90 rand kusekela ngomhla ka1 April 2023 aqhubeke afake u10 rand ngomhla ka1 October 2023 lokho ke sekusho ukuthi abantu abadala nabakhubazekile sebethola imali engango 2,090 rand wakuzwa bloko. I-child support grant yona ikhuphukile isuka ku480 iya ku510 rand nayo kusukela ngawo umhla ka1 October ngo2023. Foster care increase from 1,070 rand izoya yona ku1,130 rand ngaye uOctober. Uhulumeni ke kaKhongolose uhulumeni onakekelayo owaziyo futhi impilo zabantu fanele zibe ngcono. Uhulumeni obandlululo asikaze sikuzwe lokho. Thina nje abazali bethu babohola u300 rand emva kwenyanga ezintathu. Kodwa uhulumeni kaKhongolose ukwazi ukholela abantu abadala imali engango 2,090 rand. Nomkhulu naye imali ekhona ekhaya uhola yona leyo futhi. Kusho ukuthi makukhona umkhulu nogogo ekhaya bano 4,000 nemali kuya ku 5,000. Hayi into enkulu engakazi yenzeka. Siyasesekela ke kakhulu lesabelo zimali ekutheni njengezwe noma isifundazwe sisesimeni esinzima ngokwezimali ngenxa yezizathu eziningi ezifana nezikhukhula zakamuva zango April 2022 okuhlanganisa nezindleko eziphakeme zokuphila uhulumeni wethu azishoyo. Siumnyango ke sizozama ukubuyisela isimo esimweni siukhongolose sizozama ukubuyisela isimo esimeni esijwayelekile noma uqinisekisa ukuthi abantu bathola izinsiza eziyisisekelo ezizosiqhubezela emgomweni kaKhongolose othi bonke abantu impilo zabo fanele ukuthi zibe ngcono. Chairperson, these services to demonstrate how important the department is. In the 2023-24 financial year, the department will guarantee access to care and support services at 41 state-funded facilities, including one like Kwabadala Old Age Home, benefiting 2,589 and 14,535 senior citizens. Among others, one is also delighted that 16 organizations will be implementing community-based rehabilitation programs, and that 969 persons with disabilities will receive care in 19 residential facilities. 2,269 will receive assistance in protective workshop. Honorable members, the Department of Social Development in KwaZulu-Natal, in partnership with the CETA and the NYDA, are training 50 youth with disabilities recruited from Umkhanyakude district. The youth is being trained at Indumo Youth Development Center. Ungaya mangabe ungakukholwa lokho, uyoyibhekela. These young people will be assisted with placement on jobs as well as they are currently being developed as entrepreneurs by the NYDA. The program will take 12 months to complete, ensuring that on completion, they are able to join the job and entrepreneurial market equipped with skills. Again, the department handed over an industrial water pump to Nontseni Women's Club in Women's Club in Tsongeni area, a rural part of Herigwala district, Julivet town. This intervention by the department has helped the Women's Club to increase their productivity and will assist to generate more income. Youth from the minority community of Wentworth, Bluff, and the surrounding areas has been supported through the Wentworth Youth Development Center that was visited by members of the Social Development Portfolio Committee during an oversight visit in 2022. Out of 100 young people who graduated in December 2022, 70% of them are from the minority communities. This emphasizes the ANC government commitment to eradicate poverty as well as to principles of a non-racialism. Once more, it is worth noting that the SRD's delivery mechanism will receive special attention in the 2023-24 fiscal year, and the department will keep looking to NGOs for assistance. Additionally, Chair, the department will place 3,120 children in foster care and bring the total number of children with active foster care orders to 46,109 and reunite 46 foster kids with their families. However, it's rather alarming that despite the daily rise in demand for social services, the department continues to experience significant budget cuts and declining donor support, especially for Program 3, Children and Families, which will lose 6.2 million. Chairperson, the ANC supports the budget.
Thank you, Honorable
Sibongele
Member.
abantu besifazane abahola lo mnyango, malibongwe.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next member from the IFP, Honorable P. Govender, for 8 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Leader of the Official Opposition, all Honorable MECs that are here, and all members of this House, I greet you this afternoon. It is indeed an honor for me to be representing the Inkatha Freedom Party in this budget debate today. As the IFP, we are mindful of the vital role that the Department of Social Development plays in the lives of our people and the future of our province. Being mindful of the numerous social ills that face the citizens of our province and seeing that these challenges are ever increasing, the IFP is of the view that the budget of 3.3 billion rand allocated to the department is not sufficient to fulfill its mandate. I hope the Honorable MEC for Finance is taking note of what I'm saying. I'm sure that the Honorable MEC and officials of the department will agree with me that more funding and more personnel, including social workers, are required if this department is to play its meaningful role in improving the lives of the people of our province. As we are aware, in these difficult economic times, all of us, including government departments and households, need to manage their budgets in a prudent way in order to make ends meet. Unfortunately, I cannot say that this department has been successful in managing its budget effectively. I say this for many reasons, and I shall explain in due course. Honorable Chairperson, this department has a history of not paying its suppliers within 30 days. At a recent portfolio committee meeting, the department responded that it has, and I quote, approached IT to assist with developing a proper invoice tracking system, unquote. I find this difficult to accept, since the 30-day payment principle has been in place for a long time now, and this department does not have a system in place, whilst most other departments have such procedures in place. On a number of occasions, I've questioned why the incumbent in the CFO position has been acting for a long time, but have not received a suitable explanation, and I hope that this position will be filled with a suitably qualified and honest individual like the present incumbent. When we look at the social relief of distress allocation in Program 2, we find that the target for 2023-2024 has been reduced by almost 10,000 beneficiaries because of budget constraints. Then in Program 5, we see that the number of households accessing food has been reduced by 28,007, also due to reduction in the SRD budget. This is of serious concern to the IFP since a large sector of the KZN community will be without any form of relief in terms of having the basics to get by. City Press and various other media outlets have reported that government's attempts to feed the poor and vulnerable through the provision of food parcels are being hampered by opportunists, mainly local councillors, who allegedly divert the aid to themselves and to their supporters, and in some instances, even sell them. This is unacceptable, and we therefore would like to encourage the department to replace the food parcels with food vouchers that are redeemable at supermarkets closest to the needy families. While on the issue of grants, I am deeply concerned that many grant recipients are experiencing great difficulties in accessing their grant payments, and SASSA really needs to get its house in order, so as to ensure that payments are on time so as not to inconvenience our people, especially our senior citizens and those who are disabled. We have the strong view that the 350 Rand grant is not enough for a household to buy even a loaf of bread every day in a month, let alone anything else. We need to see that the basic income grant becomes a reality as soon as possible. The ever-increasing living costs will drive our citizens to a point of desperation, and the outcome of which will be too devastating to contemplate. Honorable Chairperson, a long time ago, we were told that the department would be transitioning from social welfare to social development. To date, this has not happened. And in the SWOT analysis of the department's APP, we were informed that there is, and I quote, slow progress in moving from social welfare to social development, partly due to under-resourcing in Program 5. This program deals with development and research and has a budget of over 274 million Rand, which is an increase of 0.8%. When we were interrogating the APP, we were informed, and I quote, focus will be on developing a strategy for accelerating the transition from social welfare to social development, unquote. In order for the transition to take place anytime soon, the department needs creative minds and progressive thinkers who will utilize available resources effectively to speed up the process. It is pleasing to note that the Office of the Premier has approved the filling of 61 social work professional posts. Will the MEC tell this House if these posts will be filled and give us a time frame? In addition, the department has been allocated 28.8 million Rand via the EPWP incentive grant, and according to the Finance MEC's budget speech, this fund is for job creation, and I'm hopeful that this grant will be used for that purpose and not be used for the department's running costs, such as security contracts. Honorable Chairperson, with the cuts in compensation of employees' budget, the department will be faced with a staff shortage due to non-filling of posts, and this will certainly have a negative impact on service delivery. I hope that there is a I note that there is a 2.5% cut in the COE budget, but at the same time, there is an increase of 50 million Rand in the goods and services budget. The question that the MEC needs to answer is, how does the department plan to spend the increased allocation on goods and services without having a staff complement of social workers on the ground to carry out the work? I am aware that there are qualified social workers, many of whom received received bursaries from the department with the promise of being employed after qualifying, but they are still sitting at home without a job. Again, I want to urge senior officials in this department to look at the spending pressures and see how best the 28.8 million EPWP incentive grant can be used to create jobs that will assist our citizens. Chairperson, I will always acknowledge, and the IFP will acknowledge, when it comes to good work being done. And in this regard, we want to recognize the hard work and the ethic of the MEC. But MEC, I want to say that some of your officials are letting you down, and we pointed this out even in our committee meetings. And I'll expand on that a little bit more when I'm given more time later. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. From the Democratic Alliance, I'll request the Speaker, Honorable M. Tembe, for 12 minutes.
Ngiyabingelela, Honorable Speaker, Chairperson, the Honorable MECs present, the Honorable Umama Unonhlanhla Khoza, Chairperson with Social Development, Honorable Swartboy Ntombela, and the members of the Social Development Committee, the HOD, and her team. I'm going to start my speech with a quote by Mother Teresa, open quote, "We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty," close quote. Chairperson, is with a heavy heart that I start this debate with the sad news of more disaster in our province. At this moment, we think about Isipingo Tekota informal settlement, eThekwini, that was hit by fires on Saturday, leaving yet again the most vulnerable people in society destitute. Again, women and children take the brunt of that devastation. A temporary tent has been placed to house women and children, but this tent had no privacy. Women are using the blue Portaloo toilets as wash areas, and there's no protection or security around. We need to ask ourselves, do we really care about the vulnerable in the society or the government contributing to more poverty? In 2023-2024 budget, we have seen a cut yet again. This is creating a social gap that is becoming too big to close. I will not go back on the issues of COVID, riots, floods in our province, as we all know what that did to our province and how we were put on the back foot of an already existing problem. The Department of Social Development wants to move from social welfare to a social welfare model to a model of social development. As good and honorable as that may be, the province of KwaZulu-Natal has too many social issues and ills that still need to be dealt with. If the basics like food security, gender-based violence is still at an all-time high, based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we cannot as a people move forward. There's an increased demand in child support grants and old age pension grants, and we're seeing how SASSA is struggling to keep up with this demand. As we speak, SASSA is struggling to renew cards for people. How do we expect to move away from welfare? The department is far from being in the developmental stage. The department has insufficient funds for any posts to be filled, nor the payments of salaries for approximately 800 currently employed staff due to budget cuts. The department has 434 vacant posts in 2022-2023 and received approval for 63 critical vacant posts. This is but the tip of a failing and melting iceberg. Social services will be affected by this, and there's still not enough staff to deal with the social issues on the ground, nor will there be quality assurance that services will be rendered effectively. As social workers will have to take up more burden and more cases just to catch up. Chair, in the APP, social development states it's reaching all its targets, but how can they if they cannot get enough people to fulfill that very mandate? With budget cuts, the APP will have to adjust to fit the current budget, meaning that the department will be working at a back foot with an unrealistic view that they're making a difference. This government needs to be more realistic when it comes to expectations. Maybe they'll draft a budget that is fully centered around the current needs of the people. The department wants to move to development, but 8 million 82.4 million of the E EPWP conditional grants was returned to Treasury because it had not spent now that has been reduced and some has been reduced in this line item. Clearly, the department wants to do one thing, but completely lacks the very thing that it's actually meant to do. The lack of implementation is also fueled by the lack of accountability. As we all may know and have heard, the officials implicated in the Blanket saga during COVID have returned back to work. The first thing is, at first, is that we're paid for being at home, and now they're back in other units, given opportunities that a lot of people are not getting. We're sitting at thousands of women and social workers who are unemployed, yet social development holds onto the individuals who have stolen money in the worst time of history. Where's the justice in that? Where's the development in that? Why does the department keep a revolving door of criminals? The SIU report clearly states that there should be criminal charges laid to these officials, yet the department fails to listen at what needs to be done. Chairperson, as a young woman myself, I cry for teenage pregnancy. There will never be a time that we can stop talking about this in our province. KZN still has one of the highest teen pregnancies in the country. We now as a D have reiterated on and on again about a call for a multifaceted, intensified approach by the government. The first thing that needs to be done is to acknowledge that teenage pregnancy is a societal issue and that will not be addressed until the root causes like poverty, poor access to resources, incorrect use of contraceptive, parental absence are addressed. There still, again, needs to be a welfare instead of a developmental model, and also it being a mixed model. Chair, we are now in 2023. It is devastating to see that so much remains the same with the space of recent horrific rape and murder of women in KZN. From a woman who has her lips and her tongues cut out to a child as young as 4 years old being raped and mutilated. KZN remains the province with the highest number of GBV cases, and so much needs to be done to work this around. This requires on-the-ground action across all spheres of government. The DA believes that a dire need for formation of a formal task team comprising of private and public sector to deal with the scourge against the society's most vulnerable. The task needs to fight to the core and implement tangible interventions and not just empty rhetoric. There needs to be more proactive measures that the MEC Umama Nonhlanhla Khoza needs to take action without delay. To care means to action, and it's high time that the government shows it really cares. Chairperson, MPOs are suffering. Since last year, November, there has been erratic payment of subsidies from social development. Unfortunately, most NPOs rely heavily on subsidies to pay salaries and to buy food. Not all the NPOs can rely on external funding, and many donors have pulled out because of COVID pressures. Staff has not been able to go to work at some points, and NPOs struggle to put food on the table during this time, and this compounded in already existing problems when it comes to NPOs. There needs to be a solution placed with the consultation with NPO stakeholders on this problem, and payments needs to be addressed on a more permanent basis. The problem is the gap is becoming too big to close, and the fear is that the closure in NPOs will be a serious social issues. We cannot forget that NPOs play a critical and integral partner to social development, and they need to be protected at all costs. Chairperson, I'd like to thank the tireless efforts of our social workers who deal with psychosocial issues that are unimaginable on the ground. They do this with violent threats from criminal activities on their vehicles, and the department cut equipment budget by 5.36 million as it plans to cut out procurement of departmental vehicles. As a result of the increase of hijackings of the department's vehicles, the staff has been asked to use their personal vehicles. The problem is that crime remains an element. Now you want to put personal vehicles of social workers, which will be in the danger of hijacking, putting more strain on social workers, as the insurance will therefore skyrocket. There should be another way to deal with this than putting it straight back on the social workers' hands. Speaker, Chair, I would like to thank the Social Development Chairperson, Honorable Swatboy Ntombela, because as the DA, we don't only complain, for the continued efforts with trying to improve issues brought forward to the committee and the continuous oversight done on the ground by the committee. I also extend to the HOD for always answering her messages. So for that, ngiyabonga. Speaker, as I draw to the end of the debate, I am still left with a very heavy heart. We cannot expect to do the same thing and expect different results. That is called insanity. Social development is always the left and the unfortunate stepchild in the family. The funding is continually being cut. There is still underspend in certain categories. Statistics regarding poverty, teenage pregnancy, unemployment, gender-based violence, homelessness, hunger, crime, and other social ills are growing faster and reaching past the national average. It is time that this ANC government concedes that they cannot handle social issues and let the government that has a proven track record to govern and a track record to govern well, and that is a government led by the Democratic Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. Thank you, honorable members. The next speaker from the EFF is Honorable GF Mchali for 9 minutes.
Siyasamukela isabelo zimali sika-2023-2024 soMnyango Wezokuthuthukiswa Komphakathi. Yize sisibona sisincane kakhulu ukubhekelela izidingo zomphakathi. Kuyasikhathaza ukuthi lo mnyango kufanele ngabe usiza ekunakekeleni laba abangathathi entweni, uphinde ukulaphe imiphefumulo, uhlukumelise nezimilo. Sekuyiminyaka ungumhumbe wabaphansi abaqashwe ngaphansi kwegama labasebenzi abasicabulela kulo mkhomo ngaphandle kokuthathelwa izinyathelo ezincane. Chairperson, ukugqugquzelwa yifu elimnyama lenkohlakalo kulo mnyaka sekuwumkhokha njengoba unyaka nonyaka unezigameko ezinto zenkohlakalo ezisishiya esinkenini. Kuyimanje ezinhlangano ezingenzi inzuzo ezibhekelele ukunakekela izintandokazi nomphakathi kanye nezinkulisa ezigcina sezivalwa iminyaka zingasakwazi ukuqhubeka nokusebenza ngenxa yokungakhokhelwa izibonelelo zomnyaka okuyizona ezisiza ekukhokheleni abasebenzi kuphinde kusiza nokudla kwalabo ababongiwa yilezi zifundo. Umnyaka ukhombise ukuhluleka ngamalengiso ekubhekeleleni lapho abahlelo njengoba kufakazekiswe nombiko ka-Audit General kanye lapho athole lo mnyaka ethaleni lokwehlisa ngomlenze imali efanele ngabe ikhokhelwa lezi zikhulu. Kepha igcine isingena ezikhondeni zabathile. Lesi sihluku sokudla okwabaswele awugcini nje ngomphakathi kepha umkhuba usushaya ngasendle. Njengoba ngisho osonhlalakahle ukuba lo mnyaka bebehlula ubuthakathaka ngenxa yezimo ezingaphezu kwamandla. Kuyimanje uma kunesimo esiphuthumayo esidinga ukuba osonhlalakahle bahambele imiphakathi kuthatha izinsuku ngaphambi kokuba zisukunyelwe ngenxa yokushoda kwezimoto ezanele zokusebenza. Nakho okwenzeka ngenxa yokutshontshwa kwemali yomnyaka. Esihlalo lo mnyango uphinde kwahluleka futhi ukusungula amathuba omsebenzi ngaphansi kohlelo loxhaso olwaziwa nge-Presidential Employment Initiative njengoba ubuyisele emuva imali ye-2.4 million obekumele ukusungule ngayo amathuba omsebenzi. Sesikhathane izigameko zenkohlakalo ezikulo mnyango ezinye izithulo ezinkulu ezishaywa endlini. Sithi-ke nakuba sisamukela lesi sabelomali egameni lokuthi kulo nyaka kuzobhekelelwa kakhulu ekukhokheleni izikhungo ezinakekela umphakathi ezingenzi inzuzo. Kucelwa abasebenzi ngamakhono kuphinde ukuthuthukisa intsha namathuba omsebenzi. Sicela-ke kube nohlelo olucacile lokuthi lokhu kuzokwenziwa kanjani. Futhi sizokuqinisekisa ukuthi siyalandelela ukuthi imiphakathi yethu iyakuthola okungokwakho. Futhi ngeke sikhathale ngokubanga umsindo lapho sibona ukuthi kunabathile okufanele ibhajiswa ngenxa yokufakala. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Member. The next speaker from the ANC is Honorable HS Dlamini, 9 minutes.
Ngiyabonga sihlalo. Ngiyafisa nje ukukhumbuza uMr Tembo ukuthi sasinabantu okwakuthiwa umhlonishwa umbali la. Sasinabantu okuthiwa umhlonishwa umncwanga sazi bashonaphi. Thank you so much, Chairperson. Greetings to the MECs, greetings to the Chairperson, greetings to the honorable members. This is the most trying era in the history of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We are emerging from one of the most devastating floods in our history, which resulted in the loss of lives of hundreds of people. The most disheartening thing about floods is that a number of people remain missing and some will probably never be found. A lot of public infrastructure lies in ruins and billions of rands are required to rebuild it. Moments like this require all of us to join hands and form partnership to provide relief to those who have been left destitute by the disaster. This is not the time to try to outsmart each, but government, the private sector, and civic society should all work together for the benefit of the people. It is at this moment that we show appreciation to our government for its effort in providing shelter for the displaced while conducting rescue missions to ensure that the remains of those missing are recovered. We are also equally grateful to non-profit organizations which have come forward to work with government and communities to ensure that those affected by floods are taken care of. The private sector has also extended helping hand to the needy, while even trade unions have been very active in mobilizing relief. The recent disaster had told us that as a nation and province, we need each other in order to survive. The Department of Social Development is crucial during such moments, as it is one of those that are required to provide food, psychosocial support to the victims. It is against the background that one appears to this House that the budget allocated for social relief of distress be revisited in order to ensure that the department is able to respond to these challenges. It must be remembered that the disaster comes soon after the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in a number of people losing their livelihoods and had a rally on SRD. It is therefore logical that the same budget can be expected to accommodate new challenges that have been brought about by the floods disaster. Poverty can never be eradicated if we do not give attention to SRD, as it gives dignity to the people. As former President Nelson Mandela once said, I quote, "In this new century, millions of people in the world's poorest countries remain imprisoned enslaved and in chains. They are trapped in the prison of poverty. It is time to set them free. Close quote. As we acknowledge the need for budget cuts, which also affect department operation, including maintenance of the offices and compensation of the employees, one cannot ignore that vast need for improvement on service delivery to the people. This department is tasked with the responsibility to fight social ills, rebuild the family unit, uphold the rights of children and care of the elderly, among others. On top of that, the department is expected to transform from its welfaristic to developmental approach. This requires the department to be resourced with properly qualified staff members. In the process, the department has and is losing staff members as a result of attrition. This matter needs to be seriously looked at as it crippling the department's ability to function, thus depriving the people a better life and setting back the development of our province. This is one of the departments whose budget needs to be prioritized, Ms. Nkonyeni. If we are to see a serious turnaround in the socio-economic conditions of the people, in the same vein, one must also implore members of this august house to pay attention to the budget allocated to the Expand Public Works Program, EPWP, on the department, Ms. Nkonyeni, as the grant has been reduced from 42.5 million in 2021-2022, 37.6 million. This is a serious challenge as the grant is used to payment of stipends to community caregivers and will put a strain on the budget allocated for compensation of employees, which has been set aside for filing of critical vacancies. EPWP is one of the ways in which government fast-tracks service delivery while providing employment to the people. Through the employment of community caregivers, the department is able to provide care and support to those in need. Budget cuts in the program mean we will have make sacrifice and accept that service delivery will be severely affected. Siyawucela uChatha. Chairperson, as the ANC, we fully support this budget that is pro-poor budgets. Strongly urge Treasury to intervene and ensure that this department is afforded adequate financial resources, enable it to discharge its constitutional obligation. Thank you. Sengcina, siyabonga Dlakahle. Bo MEC kuno CFO uDlakahle uMsuthu. Siyabona ukuthi uyazama kunzima kule department kodwa izinto ziyenzeka. Asibonge Dlakahle njengoba sihlale sikubonga nakwi portfolio committee. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Honorable Member. I hope MEC Nkonyeni has just heard the voice of begging, and it was shaking. I can see that she's begging for this budget. No, thank you so much. Honorable members, I think we'll get Honorable C.M. Shinga for 3 minutes from the NFP.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair, honorable members of the executive, honorable members. This department received 3.3 billion in the 2023-2024 budget allocation, slightly the third biggest portion of the provincial budget. The NFP is pleased to note that this department is excluded from any budget cuts due to ongoing pressures and the ever-growing need to provide adequately for the critical basic social services. As the department works to provide more comprehensive and better residential and community-based care and support services for the elderly and people with disabilities, we are pleased to know that the department has promised to ensure access to 41 state-owned residential facilities such as La Gratitude and Guabadala old age homes, among others, benefiting 2,589 older people, and furthermore 14,535 elderly people will have access to care and support services, including proactive programs to prevent elderly abuse. The year-on-year negative growth of 8.1% in the 2023-2024 is insufficient to cater for the National Treasury's recommendation for 1.5% pay progression, and is also insufficient for any post to be filled nor payment of salaries to approximately 800 currently employed personnel. The department must prioritize some of its funds to pay the 800 employees and request for additional funding from Treasury to cater for the 1.5% pay progression and 434 vacant posts in the 2023-2024, of which the department only received approval to fill only 63 critical posts. Honorable Chair, the department currently employs 1,751 grade 1 to 4 social workers, with social workers being appointed on a permanent basis and 25 social workers appointed on contract. However, there is a total of 2,414 social service professionals on the approved establishment. We need to know how will the department make up for the shortfall of social professionals in the department when it fails to pay the current employees their salaries. The social sector EPWP incentive grant in the province has decreased over the years from 48.148 million in 2020-21 to only just 28.846 million in 2023-2024. The department needs to review this grant for the upcoming adjusted appropriation budget.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Time is up.
I thought I had donated time. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, we have an apology from the Minority Front, Honorable S. Takuj Rashbansi. So we'll proceed to the ANC Speaker, Honorable L.D. Ngubane, for 9 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier Slalo, I honor to be standing in the August House representing the People's Liberation Movement, ANC. Honorable Speaker, the Department of Social Development has been at the forefront delivering quality social services to our people and has remained one of the mainstream of what our people fought for when they said they want a better life for all. As such, DSD looks to move forward with the progress it has made. The African National Congress welcomes the department budget allocation for the financial year of 2023 to 2024. Lokho kuwubufakazi onke amalunga afikile laphambili ashela ukuthi le department yona department forefront bakukhona kufika umuntu emhlabeni noma esephila emhlabeni noma esedlule emhlabeni le department etholakalayo izokwenza usizo. Sihlalo uhulumeni wethu uyakholelwa ngempela ukuthi lo mnyango udlala indima ebalulekile ekusekeleni ukwakhiwa kabusha kwenhlalo mnotho nasekusizeni nasekuthuthukiseni inhlalakahle yabantu ikakhulukazi abasengozini ngokuhlonza izinkinga zomphakathi kanye nokuthuthukisa izindlela ezintsha zokubhekana nazo. Lapho abasebenzi bakahulumeni kuyodingeka baqinisekise ukuthi ukwenziwa ngcono kokulethwa kwezidingongqangi kubantu kuyafezeka ngoba kwasho umhlonishwa umongameli wethu osiphethe sonke la endlini sonke nase South Africa ubaba uCyril Ramaphosa ngenkathi ethula istatement sangoJanuary 8 celebrate ophela iminyaka 110 ukuba khona kwalenhlangano enakekela abantu. Wathi uma kubhekwa isikhathi somnotho esingesihle sizithola sisesimweni lapho kufanele siqinise ukusebenzisa imali futhi sigxile ekwenzeni imisebenzi omgogodla womnyango. Malunga hloniphekile, kubi khona, siyakubona kuyenzeka. Chairperson, compensation of employees forms the core function in the social development sectors, where the budget of compensation of the COEs is reducing, while the vacancy rate is not reduced. The unaffordability of field and vacant policies continue in 2023-2024 due to the budget shortfall. Okuyikhathi ku-72.4 million. Ngezwe abahlonishwa bathi khona imali ephindele emuva kodwa thina njengomnyango siyakhala ukuthi kube khona ama-budget cuts. Lokho ke is hindering the province to ensure the full implementation of the Children Act. Equally, the limitation funding has compromised the funding for our youth and child care and centers where we are unable to fund the child and youth care workers post, which will prevent compromised care that attract the professional qualified child and youth care workers. We also deeply disturbed that these budget cuts are in such that the allocation provided for the filling of vacant posts was reduced, including the existing staff. This includes both core and support function. As a result, the carried tough decrease of the budget cut has a result in the department not being compliant in respect of the provision of the supervision framework for social workers. Ukuncishiswa kwasabelozimali kuphazamise kakhulu ikhono lomnyango lokuthuthukisa izinhlelo, okulekelela nemindeni kanye nezisulu. Lokho kube nomthelelo omubi ekuphenduleni komnyango nasekuqaliseni ukusebenza. Chairperson, it should be noted that as of March 2022, the department has 1,533 social workers post-filled, with only 103 social workers supervisions. We, as the Liberation Movement, we would like to remind the department of the critical role social workers plays and request that they increase the capacity of social workers in the department to deliver on the mandate of the department. This will also assist in the tackling the high unemployment rate. Kukhona kudaba kulokhu livela kancane kuthiwa kunama-NPOs angaholeliwe. But we are having ama-figures akhona ukuthi there is something that's happened. We wish to applaud the department to ensure that services users receive the services rendered. The NPOs do not go without food. We appreciate that out of 1,070, our 1,063 have been paid in the current cycle, with exemption only 7 aba-outstanding abasazohola. Nabo futhi imali yabo bazoyithola. Siyabonga kakhulu kumnyango ngokusenzela lolo. In the same vein, the ANC commends the department for the upliftment of suspension. Kukhona ke lokhu ke okuke kuvele kuthiwa kukhona abasebenzi abathinteka laphayana emalini yomkhuhlane eyayifikile. I-department ayihlalanga yagoqa izandla. Khona into ayenzile i-department to those officially abanukeka kulelo phunganyana lemali yomkhuhlane. ANC commends the department for the upliftment of suspension of official charge for COVID-19 related expenses and further request the department to fast track the finalization of the misconduct of these officials. We also hear in the mind that others' cases have been finalized. And officials are serving their sanction, whilst others have been partial transfer, and at the same time, others are waiting their respective hearings. Malunga ahloniphekile, leli voti lingumgogodla wokunciphisa amazinga obumpofu, ukulingana. Ubuphofu obadalwa-ke oNtaba kayikhonjwa. Sigcwalisa umgodi nje kade wahambiwa. Ile department-ke enza lowo msebenzi wokuthi ugcwalise. Ukuba sengozini kanye nobubi emphakathini. Iphinde ibe nezindlela ezindaweni zokunika abantu bakithi amandla. kanye nemiphakathi esimeme. Sihlalo, kufanele siqinisekise ukuthi kulonyaka wezimali siqinisa izinhlelo zethu zokuqapha ngoba nawo lama NPOs kuyakhalwa nje sihlalo ukuthi awakhokhelekile. Amanye sake saya kuwona aphethwe ontaba kayikhondlo ongebona abantu abamnyama ngibandlululi kodwa safica ukuthi kudlalwa ngabantu kulawa ma NPOs. Kodwa ke sicela ukuthi i-department ilekelele ekuqapheni ukusebenza kwalawa ma NPO. Okukhona nje intombi ethile evimbile engafuni ukuthi kwenziwe ngoba iwuhlanga oluthile ihlukumeza. Saya kuleyo NPO ngoba siholwa usihlalo siyakwazi ukuthi sihambe siyofika lapha. Sasile eThekwini. Siyacela ukuthi nama NGO udaba lwezikhalo zigcwaliswe ube bakhokheleke ngokusemthethweni. Sengiphetha sihlalo. Siyinhlangano eyakhulula lelizwe from 1912 kuze kube manje. So ANC siyaseseka isabelo sezimali sevoti lika 13 lomnyango wezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi. Siyabonga kakhulu.
No, thank you, Honourable Member. Our next speaker has apologized from the ATM, Honourable W.E. Pagati, M.E. Pagati, and also from ACDP, Honourable S.E. Mangaile. Both apologies were received. We will ask the next speaker from the IFP, Honourable P. Gavenda, for 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. As I was saying when I was leaving the podium earlier, the Honorable MEC is being let down by some of her officials. I know that this department prides itself in following the Batopili transformation principles and priorities. However, as we speak, the department has for many months been erratic in making subsidy payments to non-profit organizations, such as child welfare societies, old age homes, childcare centers, and centers that provide services to persons with disabilities and places of safety. Allow me to read what the Honorable MEC Nkonieni had to say on page 18 of a 2023-24 budget speech, and I quote, "The Department of Social Development receives 3.3 billion rand. The department will continue to provide social welfare services to the people of this province, with focus being on the vulnerable citizens of this province. The work will be done jointly with non-profit organizations," unquote. Honorable Chairperson, this department is known for being in violation of the obligations towards the NPOs in this regard, which goes against what the budget is meant to do, Honorable MEC for Finance. I have been receiving messages of concern from NPOs complaining about not receiving the monthly subsidies on time. We must keep in mind that these NPOs rely on funding from the department to take care of the monthly financial commitments, such as the utility bills, staff salaries, building maintenance, payment to suppliers, etc. One might think that this is not a serious matter. Allow me to read some of the correspondence that the NPOs have been receiving from the HOD recently. And for this, I'm not blaming the HOD, but somebody needs to take responsibility, Honorable MEC. On the 2nd of February 2023, the HOD wrote, and this is to all non-profit organizations, and the heading is Update on the Delay in Subsidy Payments. This letter serves to provide an update on the delays in payments of claims received from the various NPOs. As previously communicated, the department wishes to report that the matter has been resolved and NPOs are to receive their claims in the bank accounts on the 8th of February 2023. Lastly, the department would like to apologize for the inconvenience caused. That was on the 2nd of February. Then on the 24th of February, the HOD writes again to all NPOs. The department has experienced some challenges in processing the payments of subsidies. The majority of the NPOs were paid and will get the subsidies on the 28th of February. The department has then requested Provincial Treasury to allocate a special payment run on the 27th of February. The NPOs will have the subsidies in their bank account on the 2nd of March 2023. Again, the department profusely apologized for any inconvenience caused. Then on the 16th of March, another letter going to the NPOs again, delay in subsidy payments to non-profit organizations. The department strives to adhere to the stipulations of the finance prescripts and serve the people of the province with diligence, with dignity. In line with Treasury Regulation 8.2.3 and National Treasury Instruction Note 34, which requires accounting officers to settle all contractual obligations and pay all money owing, including intergovernmental claims, within the prescribed or agreed period. However, this is coming from the HOD. This has not been the case recently due to reasons that are beyond the department's control as a result of excessive budget cuts. The next BAS run will take place on the 17th of March 2023. The department has requested that Treasury puts more money in the bank account to allow the settlement of all outstanding claims. If this request succeeds, the money will be deposited in our clients' accounts on Wednesday, the 22nd of March 2023. And again, there's an apology from the HOD. Then on the 24th of March, another letter, again dealing with the delay in subsidy payments to non-profit organizations. This letter serves to provide an update of the payment of claims to and sincerely apologize, yet again, for inconvenience caused. Now, how would any one of us feel if we were receiving that kind of letter from Treasury to say, if money is put into Treasury's account, then we will pay your salaries at the end of the month? How would each of us feel? And remember that these NPOs have staff that they have to pay. They have commitments that they need to adhere to. And you get these kind of letters. I've been, honestly, I must say that I was really disappointed with that kind of letter coming from the HOD. But as I said, I don't blame her for that. Now, I spoke to an official from Treasury, and the official said to me that monies are deposited into the department's bank account monthly as it is supposed to be done. I will tell you outside of this. So it would appear that this department is not doing what it is supposed to do in terms of paying the subsidies to the NPOs on time. And in February, I can tell you that 200 NPOs did not receive their subsidies on time. Now, this kind of inconsistency cannot be tolerated. And this House needs to know.
Order.
This House needs to know why is it that monies that are coming from Treasury for the express purpose of being sent on to NPOs is not being done. We need to know. Let me remind the department that these NPOs are doing sterling work in our communities, a workload that will fall upon the department should the NPO sector collapse. Honorable MEC, I want to thank you for the kind of work that you do because we acknowledge your commitment. And I want to thank the social workers for being on the field and doing the work under difficult circumstances. I want to thank the acting CFO for the work that he has been doing and for holding the fort while the post has been vacant for such a long time.
Your time is
Mazulu,
up.
we thank you
Honorable
very much.
Governor.
And we support the budget of 3.3 billion rand. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Governor. Our last speaker for today is Honorable Member NMSB from the African National Congress.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me greet the MEC, Honorable Khoza, and the members of the executive who are part of this debate, the members of the legislature, all of them. Chairperson, it's one of the most disappointing debates where you sit back expecting that we are going to debate issues, but also have solutions when we debate. But you only find that those who are debating, in particular from the other side, and the criticism are not constructive. They are just criticisms that are just thrown at the Department of Understanding and nothing else. Namhlanje sithe here sihleli silalele abadebateayo. Uyabona ukuthi beze bengayimisa. Kodwa bazokwenza kuphela ukuthi ngoba nakho banikwe ithuba lokuthi bakhulume kunabantu. Okuyikona bangakwenza kangcono ukuthi bagxeke. Akukho bangeza nakho, akukho abaphethe, akukho kuhama solutions abanakho. Lo hulumeni okhona iwona kuphela nama solutions nokwazi ukuthi gaps khona ezinye zezinto esizenzayo ezenzeka kangcono ukuthi siyakwazi ukuzivala izikhala, siyakwazi ukuziqondisa lezo zinto. Yingakho mawulalele kuzofakwa emqondweni wabantu into yokuthi engathi akusetshenzwa, kodwa uma ubheka yonke into eyenzeka eminyangweni uyabona ukuthi umnyango uyasebenza. Ngiqale ngokuthi ke ngingene ezintweni ezishola abanye bozakwethu abayade bedebate. I think it's important to get into started when he was debating here. I think Honorable Governor, a seasoned member of the legislature, that when I say you are seasoned, it's because you are the best. You are not, because when we're listening to you here, you are just focusing on one thing. And there is work that is being done by the department. In fact, it's one issue that it's one incident that we are saying it must never happen. And the MEC and these officials, they know the mandate that they must fix the issue of NPO. During the times of KwaZulu government, ZG, we never, yes, I'm gonna go back because these under the ANC government, you never recognized them, you never paid them a cent. Instead, the money that was budgeted, in fact, the budget of that government never even, considering that they are NPOs. So it's only the ANC that has started involving NPOs because it's the apartheid system was only recognizing the white NPOs. But this government has managed to make sure that there is synergy. All NPOs are recognized, all NPOs are getting the same status. We know that when it comes to by a miracle, we don't have a miracle, but we have managed to bring everyone. We are working with everyone. If you read what was said, SOPA, where we said we are taking everyone with us, we are working with everyone. That's why even where we are having challenges, we also acknowledge that a number of NPOs are part of the system. A number of NPOs are working. It's only now that they are not getting paid. Fixing it. It's because we are narrow. You've got nothing that you can say except the issue of payment of NPOs. If you are thinking properly, you are going to acknowledge now, because I'm exposing you that we are trying to, I know that NPOs are listening. All we are trying to do is just to make sure that you are, but you are not, in the portfolio committee, you don't raise these things. You come here, you raise them. You just keep quiet. You just want to grandstand. But let's move forward and expose you because we know how you operate. You always say September, but nothing that we are offering. There is absolutely nothing that we are offering. You spoke about the issue of blanket saga. You know exactly what is happening. You did, even yourself. You did. And then you spoke about the issue of City Press. Listen to yourself. You come here, you are telling a member of legislature, coming telling us about what I've read from City Press. City Press is saying food hampers are being stolen. Why are you in the legislature? You just read newspapers and you come and debate here. General knowledge. That's basic stuff. Please do better. the department and investigate. That is your responsibility. But because we are useless, you don't know what is your responsibility, you bring issues of newspapers here. And we are not going to entertain that. Let's do better. We are appealing that as members of legislature. Let's do better. Let's not be basic of thinking, and that's what we are doing. You raised the issue of 350 rands not being enough. Let me tell you, the apartheid system never considered that our people were poor, didn't have anything. Your government, of course, let me tell you what they were paying our grandmothers. They were paying our mothers 90 rand after 3 months. 90 rand after 3 months. And you defeated in the tricameral parliament. Today you come here, you say this money is small, it's leaking. It's what you guys always talk about. I'll tell you our history. You've got people today who have just started to get money for the first time because of this 350. They've never even been treated. But today they're able to get something. It might be little, but they get something. But because when you benefited in the tricameral kind of leaders we're having, you know, the issue of grants, I literally want to labor on it. Line them up, it's a number of grants. They were never there, except grant or gogo no mkhulu that they were getting. Today, people benefiting in the system, getting recognition, the system is giving them something that we are not doing. But you've got full their grants. Grants are paid on time in this country. Grants are paid on time, even in the rural, deep rural area. In Kuti, they are paid on time every day. Whether from the 1st to the 6th, you will see our people benefiting through the system, because you don't want to recognize the work that is being done. You just think people are queuing in ATMs, they are not getting money. They get money. When we didn't have, some of us, we started knowing about social workers after 1994. We never had social workers as black people. There were no social workers that were servicing our people in rural areas and in townships. Today we do have them because of this government of the ANC. Things have changed, completely changed. The picture has changed. Social workers today, you find them in schools. You find them going in wards. Government, because we're thinking about our people. Social workers were just taking care of a certain population, but today they're taking care of everyone. Something about it. You know, the painful thing that you guys are doing is not to understand that as black, coming from the history where suffering was just the order of the day. Our people will suffer and no one will come to intervene. Appreciate that fathers or males will go and work in Johannesburg and leave women back at home. Women will leave and will be left at home and suffer. The male or the husband or the father has gone to Johannesburg to look for work or in eThekwini or wherever. But these women today, they don't suffer because it's never happening. But you won't understand it because your fathers and your mothers were always with you. Some of us, we are coming from a history where we together. We are very emotional about it, I must tell you. We won't be emotional because you never experienced it. Our faith, you never, because I know. Parliament, I know. So, Tina, we are coming from families that were never staying together. That's why now we will bad history, and we are fixing the country. Today, if you look at our people, we use, you know, MEC and members. Kunesifo esibizwa ngesifo sendlala ikhwasha. Namhlanje akasekho nolikhumbula igama lekhwasha. bakithi ababe nezintwala. Have you ever asked yourself ukuthi izintwala zaphelelaphi? Honorable we-DA, Honorable Tembe, wake wazibuza ngoba abantu bakithi sebeya-afford ukuthenga insipho, you won't know izintwala. Because sebeya-afford ukuthenga insipho because of this SASSA that is paying them. But today they are bathing, they are accessing insipho nakho konke because of this government that is able to give them something. Nina, you are the facts and the realities because you guys are theorizing. You never experienced this and you think our people are blind. There's nothing you will say. You benefited in the apartheid system with your parents. That's why you are here even today and you've got nothing to offer. You've got, you know, you guys, you, the DA, the DA, because we must expose you. I know I'm touching the nerves, that's why you're standing up now. I'm touching the nerves.
Honourable member. Can you come beside and raise the point of order?
Person, I hope it can be heard now. I'll raise on point 70, members to address the presiding officer. A member must address the presiding officer when speaking. Must of this House, honourable members of the House directly, as the Speaker has done. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me also remind you guys. You know, some of us, no, the public, we are only directing at you. You are not important to us. We are nobodies, literally nobodies. We just don't matter to us. Let me remind you. Abantu abakhubazekile esikhule khona kusengathi kuyisiqalekisa ukukhubazeka. Ebebekade befihlwa bengenazi izindawo abazoya kuzona eziyizibhedlela bazosizakala kanjani because of isimo esiphuma kusona. The disabled, because it was like it's wrong to have a disabled person because the governments that were there never took care of them. But today, taking care of them because of this government, and you are saying nothing is being done. The worst thing that you do is that you always paint a to offer. You want to drill it in the mind of our people as if there is corruption everywhere, and that's a lie. There is work that is being done. Corruption where it is. There are some people who are living. Some, underline that, who are having NPOs. They and say we're looking after the kids or whatsoever, and we end up paying the entire bill of that family. That's what is happening. And in particular, of the NPOs that we're having are white NPOs. So all I'm saying is that no, you don't want to listen. You don't want to listen. You are how. That's where we find this. That's where we find what is happening that I've narrated. That we are paying the entire bill and then they will start marching, and you, the DA in particular, because we must address you as the DA. That has been done over the years. The NPOs will be paid. MEC, we know that the work is being done to pay the NPO, and we understand what it means not to pay the NPOs. So I want also to pledge and also plead with the portfolio committee. Let us obekhola khona ogogo before behole idolo. Bekubasiza abantu bakithi. Baningi abantu bakithi bebe kuneyingane ezifundile namhlanje ezinama degrees ezisebenza kahle esikhuliswe omama ade besebenze abade bedayise emholweni. Yokuthi sisebenze udaba lokuthi akubuyiselwe imiholo ezitolo. Abantu bakithi baqhubeke ba benefit. Le mali namhlanje abanye bamazwe angaphandle abagcwele indaweni esikuzona ingabuyeli kubantu bakithi. But thank you very much MEC and the department, the ANCs.
I don't have a mic anymore. Honorable members, is Honorable MEC for 17 minutes.
I would like to thank all the honorable members who have just added their voices. I would like to thank the capable team. Debate, especially led by the HOD, Umama Uvilakazi. Nikwenza ukuvuka kwami ngiza emsebenzini kube mnandi. You are always there to give me support as Dlagadla wenkosi. Dlagadla, we are going to miss you. And honorable members, I want to assure you, giving us anytime soon, and the recruitment process of the CFO has been. We have someone who is going to start on the 1st of June as the CFO. So wish you all the best, Dlagadla. I want to thank my family as well, because of it, and you have given me this opportunity to shine. And of course, go unnoticed. And you are able to share your mom with the whole of KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you. I would like to thank the members, the mayors, deputy mayors, and speakers. Thank you very much, because wherever you are ears and eyes, and we respond accordingly to whatever is raised by councillors. And ngiyathanda ke the team of social development ayibheki buso usikhathi kwenzeka leyo nto to any member, honorable member, ukuthi vela kuliphi party ayibheki as social development. Yes. To honorable member, I want to thank provincial treasurer ama-funds akwazi ukusinikeza wona. During a second adjustment budget, that is why I'm able to stand in front of this August House and tell you that March, all NPOs had been paid. But I want to assure you, honorable members, payment of the NPOs is just a recent thing. And you can, now we are devising and coming up with the new ways or new strategies to as of now, we have spoken to the Treasury in terms of paying, and all departments, all provincial departments are paying in tranches. It's only KwaZulu-Natal. So once we deal with that, we will be able to deal with the issue of non-payment of the NPOs. And ngizothatha nje okumbalwa lokho engikubona ku critical kakhulu. Ku honorable member Umtshali kukhona umfake ehlatheni. Honorable member, you are the member of this. Siyacela kungabi khona umuntu ovumayo ukuthi akufake ehlathini, because the presidential employment grant sidinga social development. Asiyazi, siyafisa ukuthi ungavuma ukufakwa abantu ehlathini and ungakwazi wena ukuyikhuluma lapha. Siyacela, just rise above kancane nje. As of now, we have improved as social development in terms of the payment of, and I want to tell you and assure you in front of the MEC, Nkonyeni. In fact, the previous year, we were seated at 97%, but as I'm standing in front of you, we are seated in terms of the payment, the timeous payment of the service providers. And I want to talk to Dakota. Dakota, in fact, we need to realize that and we will experience the flood disasters due to the climate change. We come there as the first department and we end up being the last department. Your information, most departments have pulled off from the disasters as in, but as of now, providing the psychosocial support to those families abalahlekelwa zihlobo zabo. And we cannot, is not doing anything. You cannot come here and do that. We are the last department. We are providing the psychosocial zihlobo zabo even today. Our social workers are going there doing that service. So, okay, you need nje. Sure, ke honorable members, ukuthi mawuhleli to the opposition desk, kufanele uphikise noma yini. At some point, kunabantu abathatha nje iposture yo whatever comes with the ruling government. And ngiyafisa ukusho ukuthi namanje basazo Steenhuisen has defined the ANC as their enemy. It means people who are not appreciating what government is doing. Wake up, the department, this government is working. They are providing the most needed services to our people. And we should be proud. Dakota, Honorable Tembe, we are providing the most services at give you information. But just to give you a little bit, ngikuthi tsuphe nje. Households were affected, and you don't have that information. It is due to our service by our social workers. Akadi, Akwasasa, Ashile, we are just there. We are finalizing that one. Government is doing. And it is a disgrace that we can stand here and fail to appreciate what we are doing. Now, we are providing school uniform to those families, labo bantwana who have been affected. Ngiyafisa ukukhuluma futhi ke angingani prioritize. I want to thank the honorable members who are realistic in their debate and is normal and tangible, implementable recommendations. Uswarpo Ntombela, thank you so much, Uswarpo Ntombela. We realize the delays will be a thing of the past due to your support and the committee. Just develop those strategies. And with the DDM funds, and we responded to that call. In fact, workshop for all councillors of Ugu. And mind you, alone, the Reinkonyeni municipality alone has about 99 councillors. Of all Ugu councillors through the fund. On top of that, we had a cabinet OSS program, successfully so, without fail. We have spent these funds. Honorable Mbatakele, thank you so much. With your support, the committee doing what is expected out of them, giving support, doing that groundwork, you highly appreciate that. You are ears and eyes of this department. And on the SRD, yes, to the demands out there. And kukhona komunye osekhuluma. And for your information, this time around, I'm proud of it. I don't know about these councillors, abatata the vouchers, abatata the food parcels, but I'm very proud of the providing our communities with AMA vouchers, and nobody takes that voucher. They give those lists which has been identified in their war rooms. Very proud of our councillors, and I must say the ANC councillors, to be specific. I don't know about other councillors. Honorable Shinga, yes, unemployment of social workers. But Honorable Shinga, as of now, we have seen that it is a thorny issue. So we are just waiting for Uguti Ipume as employ our social workers, because it is not only for us as KZN, but it's a thorny issue. Yes, Honorable yes, Honorable Dlamini, poverty cannot be eradicated if ngoba as of now we can see that abantu bakithi bayadinga, and budget yethu prioritized. Honorable Ngubane, I want to assure you that social development is delivering equality services to our people. That is highly appreciated. Thank you for reminding us ukuthi sisukapi. Ebunzimeni esisuka kubo, abantu bakithi besafarisha. And it has never been in their abantu bakithi bayofisa ukuba kunikezwe nje uSRD, kunikezwe nje some grants to our people, but in mind. And as you have said, Honorable Sibiya, kunabantwana abakhula ngo. As of now, we are taking that and we are going to review to see how we review Kuma pension pay points. Honorable members, thank you so much for, and to those contributions which came with the recommendations, those are highly appreciated, so that we up the game. But thank you so much. Thank you, Chairperson, for thank you.
Honorable MEC, for the response that you've just given us. Honorable members, let me thank you once again for audience and participants in this vote 13 debate of social development. Let me thank also the senior management from DSD for providing such a good leadership to the MEC. with our voting, with that budget debate. From the main chamber, we will have there is Thursday, vote 12, also in main chamber. And here in this boardroom, we will have vote 5, vote 11. Yeah, we start at 9. We start at 9. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you. Thank you.